Welcome, deep divers. Today we're doing something a bit different. We're diving deep into just one really intriguing audio source.
Yeah, this one's fascinating.
It mentions a top secret space laser pistol from Russia.
Sounds like science fiction almost.
It really does. So our mission today is to unpack the story behind this Cold War artifact, and maybe more importantly, understand the kind of unique challenges you face with warfare, well, beyond Earth.
Absolutely. You have to remember the context here. The second half of the 20th century was all about this massive confrontation,
Yeah.
right? The Soviet Union and its allies versus NATO, led by the U.S.
The Cold War, yeah.
Exactly. So these powers were gearing up for potential conflict on Earth, sure. But the question inevitably came up, if things kicked off up there in space, what would they use?
A whole different battlefield.
Totally different. And that thinking led to some really unusual concepts, like this pistol.
Now, I bet a lot of you are thinking, couldn't they just use a regular gun in space? It seems straightforward enough.
It does, doesn't it? But our source actually tackles that head on. It points out why traditional weapons are, well, peculiar, maybe even impractical, in space.
So what's the actual problem? It's a vacuum, but bullets have their own propellant,
They
right?
do, yeah. A standard firearm could technically fire, the chemistry works, but the physics, that's the issue. It really boils down to recoil.
Ah, the kickback.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Here on Earth, you got gravity, friction, air resistance, your own stance. Lots of things counteract it. In space, none of
Yeah,
that.
sure.
So you fire a bullet one way, and Newton's third law takes over with a vengeance. The source suggests the shooter would be sent spinning uncontrollably in the opposite direction.
Wow. Okay, so you're trying to aim and suddenly you're doing zero-G cartwheels.
Pretty much. Imagine trying to hit anything accurately like that. It makes conventional guns, basically useless for any kind of controlled combat situation up there.
Right. That paints a clear picture. So the big design challenge then became crystal clear. Whatever weapon you design for space, it absolutely must avoid recoil.
That was paramount. No recoil. That's the starting point.
So how did this space laser pistol tackle that? Lasers don't usually have recoil in movies.
Well, that's essentially the idea they went for. This pistol, according to the source, was conceived to bypass the recoil problem entirely.
How?
Instead of throwing a physical mass like a lead bullet, which has to create an opposite reaction, it used basically a focused burst of energy, an electrical impulse generating light and heat.
Like a true laser gun.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no significant mass being ejected forward at high speed, there's no equal and opposite physical push backward on the shooter.
Meaning the cosmonaut stays stable, no spinning.
Exactly. It's actually a pretty elegant solution from a physics standpoint, even if it sounds exotic. A direct answer to that core recoil problem.
So an ingenious piece of engineering born from a very specific, very strange problem. But did it actually fly? Did cosmonauts carry these things?
This is the big question, isn't it?
We've just taken this deep dive into a really pretty wild Cold War concept, a weapon literally designed for zero-gravity space combat.
And it really shows how those geopolitical tensions, that rivalry, pushed innovation into some pretty extreme, even hypothetical areas, like space combat.
So the answer, did it get used?
Well, according to our source, and this is key, it seems this weapon never actually got tested in space, not in a real-world scenario.
So it stayed on the drawing board or maybe just ground tests?
Seems like it. It was never officially adopted for service. It remained one of those fascinating concepts, proof of what engineers could think up, but maybe the practical hurdles were too high.
Like power or aiming over vast distances?
Could be any number of things. Or perhaps the need just never truly materialized. It ended up as a conceptual marvel, really.
It really makes you wonder, though, doesn't it? What other kinds of what-if tech might be sitting in dusty archives somewhere?
Absolutely. What do these abandoned ideas, these almost inventions, tell us about the incredible, sometimes strange challenges humanity tries to solve when pushed to the limit?
Thinking about problems most of us never even consider. Something for you to ponder.